Today is that day. You are not the law. You don't interpret the law. You don't enforce the law. You're not above the law.
Corrupt cops often believe they can get away with their abuse of power, thinking their badge will shield them from justice. Today, we will go through the jaw-dropping cases when the very system the cops manipulated turned against them, serving brutal karma right in the courtroom. On June of 2023, the Indiana State Police launched an investigation into Clark County Sheriff Jamie Noel. They found that he had embezzled more than $5 million in taxpayer money. Now, Sheriff Noel was instantly relieved of his duties and accused of 25 offenses. This was just the first step toward his downfall as a corrupt cop.
Date of birth?
12/18/70.
And that will make you how old?
52, sir.
And the last 4 digits of your social security number? Mr. Noel, Special Prosecutor Pearl has charged you with 15 counts of criminal conduct. And I'll go through them. Count 1. Corrupt business influence is a level 5 felony. It would indicate that pursuant to Indiana Code 35-44-1.1-2-1, that on or about a period of time from November the 9th, 2018 and August the 16th, 2023 in Clark County, state of Indiana, you did knowingly or intentionally through a pattern of racketeering activity acquire or maintain, either directly or indirectly, an interest in or control of property or enterprise contrary to the form of the statute in such case made and provided. Count 2, theft as a level 5 felony. You then personally sold said Hellcat for $83,000, $83,716. Count 4, theft is a level 6 felony under Indiana Code 35-43-4-2A.
Numerous charges were also brought against Jamie Noel's daughter, Casey, and his wife, Misty. It is truly remarkable to see how the sheriff was able to engage in such corruption and yet maintained his position in the agency for such a long time.
On or about August the 16th, 2023, in Clark County, state of Indiana, you did knowingly or intentionally alter, damage, or remove any record, document, or thing with the intent to prevent it from being used, produced as evidence in any official proceeding or investigation, that being you factory reset your phone upon the arrival of the Indiana State Police on your property. You, in your capacity as Clark County Sheriff, public servant, did knowingly or intentionally assign to Rodney Walker, an employee under your supervision, duties that were not related to the operation of a governmental agency that you serve, that being sheriff, assigned Walker duties on your personal property, rental properties, father-in-law's property, pole barn, and property of the Utica Fire Department. Count 11. And count 15. Official misconduct is a level 6 felony. It would indicate that between November the 9th, 2018 and December the 31st, 2022 in Clark County, state of Indiana, you, a public servant, that being sheriff of Clark County, knowingly or intentionally committed an offense in the performance of your official duties, that being goes to employment as sheriff of Clark County relating to Brent Fisher. Mr. Noel, the first 3 counts are level 5 felonies, which have a range of imprisonment from 1 year to 6 years, with the advisory sentence being 3 years and up to a $10,000 fine. Counts 4 through 15 are all level 6 felonies, which have a range of imprisonment of no time in jail, treated as a misdemeanor, to 2.5 years at the Indiana Department of Corrections, with the advisory sentence being 1 year and up to a $10,000 fine. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the potential penalties?
Yes, Your Honor.
The next question is, usually you intend to hire a lawyer, but you obviously have counsel seated with you. I need to tell you, you have a right to a speedy public trial by jury in this county. You have the right to face all witnesses against you, see their question and cross-examine these witnesses.
Jamie sat through the proceedings with a complete lack of guilt as the judge systematically read out the 15 counts against him during the hearings. The tension was high in the courtroom as the state attorney made a strong case for his detention without bond. Despite the gravity of the charges, the judge decided to grant bail, but little did he know that this would turn out to be a serious mistake.
His passport to you by noon tomorrow, and then you will surrender it to the court by 4 p.m. next Monday, because it's my understanding the court here is closed tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
He will surrender all firearms except one shotgun of his choice to Indiana State Police. Being from the country, or as Mr. Wilder said, Washington County, I keep my shotgun with double aught near me, along with my .45, but I think one shotgun for personal protection is appropriate for him to maintain. Will not leave the state of Indiana without permission of the court, and they'll post $75,000 in cash. Mr. Noel, you wanted him released without posting any bond, but it's a unique case, and if you don't like my decision, I'm happy for you to appeal it. It won't be the first time you've appealed me, and the Court of Appeals told you I was right, so I'm happy for you to accept that challenge if you so please. I'm not going to have you report in.
After delivering the announcements, the judge made one thing unmistakably clear, leaving no room for confusion or misunderstanding.
You keep one shotgun only. Try to deceive me, you will not like the consequences. Understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And then, Judge, the issue of return of all other items seized, we can just take them in another hearing?
Well, it wasn't set for today, so
No.
yeah, we'll deal with that at another time. I assume now that everything's going to be unsealed, there'll be a lot of new things brought before the court that
Yes, sir.
we'll address in due time.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing else from us, Judge. Thank you.
All right, we'll be off record. Thank you all.
Although Jamie was first granted bail, however, his freedom was quite short-lived. When he violated the judge's order, police raided his residence in March and found a stash of hidden weapons. When the judge was called back for another court appearance, he was clearly outraged and did not hold back this time, delivering an uncompromising reprimand.
I told Mr. Noel, don't do anything stupid. Do not try to deceive me, defy me. You will not like the consequences. Today is that day. You are not the law. You don't interpret the law. You don't enforce the law. You're not above the law. I find that you are in contempt of this court. Take him into custody. No, that's enough. I'll find you guys in contempt for disrupting the proceedings, and you'll be there right there with him.
Ironically, Jamie Noel's appearance in A&E's 60 Days In, a series that exposes the inner workings of law enforcement, ended up on the wrong side of the court. During sentencing, the judge made an intentional point of mentioning his feature in the series, highlighting the sharp fall from grace of the former sheriff.
Now, what is an appropriate sanction? The question is, I can sentence him up to 180 days without a trial, or I can sentence him to a day, or I can release him. You know what I think the answer is? 60 days in. That's what I think the answer is today. Now, Mr. Wilder.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or Mr. Boyles, I apologize, Mr. Boyles, your lead. Before he is released, I'll take your suggestion. I want an independent individual to scour that household to determine that there's no further weapons. I find it Mr. Ertle's original argument that he was trying to make that I sustained, an officer of the law. Every time I go into court, I hear, I didn't know it was there. I didn't know it was there. It really did. You've heard that a million times. You've heard it a million times, and yet you still take them into custody, would be my guess. Every officer in the world has heard, I didn't know it was there. It's my friends. I'm not buying it. It was your burden. It's your responsibility. And today, the court will enforce that. Take him away.
Even though Jamie Noel received a 60-day term, his legal issues are far from over. He is currently facing 31 felony charges, and the outcome of his trial might mean a long jail term. Noel's once powerful position has collapsed into an abrupt fall from grace, and he may spend years behind bars. Well, you will be shocked to hear what this next former supervisor of Border Patrol was facing charges for.
I received a call of a female down. She was face down, lots of blood. No, she was brutally attacked.
On April 9th, 2018, Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles, a former supervisor of the Border Patrol, went on trial for the shocking and brutal murders of Griselda Hernandez and their one-year-old son, Dominic Alexander.
That morning, more or less around 11:30 a.m., I received a call of a female down by Bristol and Riverbank Road, which is located in Mines Road, with lacerations to her head. While en route to that call, my dispatchers informed me that she was possibly deceased.
Okay. And did you proceed to that area?
Yes, sir. Upon arrival, the ambulance, the City of Laredo paramedics, the ambulance was already parked outside. I parked and I walked down to the trail.
Okay, did you come in contact with anybody when you got there?
Yes, while on my way down, two paramedics were on the way up, and I asked them more or less, where is everybody? They said, follow the dirt trail and you'll see the body and you see the USBP agents down there.
Okay. Did you come in contact with a BP agent by the name of Dennison?
Yes, sir.
More than 20 witnesses, including family members, law enforcement officers, forensic experts, and close friends. Officer Alberto Cortez Jr. took to the stand to describe the horrifying scene he received about a woman down with lacerations on her head.
This is where BP units were stationed. 4 to 5 United States Border Patrol agents were located here. And a motionless, lifeless female body was about right here. She was facing eastbound. And upon me being a police officer, secured the crime scene, to look for any evidence, any clues, anything out of the ordinary. As I began to canvass the crime scene, in better words, I was walking around this grassy on the edge. There was one USBP agent, Agent Dennison, already ahead of me. He was already south. I passed the female body. I did look at her. I observed she was barefooted. She was face down. Lots of blood. Can you hear me? Yes, lots of blood around her upper middle torso on the dirt. And continuing my path southbound, I saw blood drops on the dirt. At this time, Agent Dennison said out loud, I found another body.
Okay, stop right there.
Okay.
The incident occurred not far from Father McNaboe Park's walking paths off Bristol Road and close to the banks of the Rio Grande. Officer Cortez Jr. described the grim scenes when he discovered the body of the woman lying barefoot and covered in blood.
Is this the type of blood that you saw?
That is correct, sir.
You also said that there was, and you didn't walk on the, where were you walking? Let me ask you that much.
On the grass, where the grass and the dirt meet, right on that
So you stayed on the
boundary.
edge of the
Yes.
path. You did not disturb the dirt path.
No, sir.
Were you the first officer that arrived?
Yes, that is correct.
You were the first official Laredo police officer to arrive,
Yes.
and this location falls within your jurisdiction.
No. Each officer is assigned a certain area. I got dispatched to be there.
No, but what I'm saying, that's within the city limits.
Oh, yes, that is correct. Yes,
Okay, so this is within the city limits.
yes.
What county is this?
Webb County.
So the body's in the city of Laredo and Webb County.
Yes.
Cortez recalled getting an urgent call from another officer at the scene shortly after he ensured that the scene remained uncontaminated. To his shock, the officer had discovered something completely horrifying, intensifying the gravity of the situation.
What was your impression of what had happened?
Any prudent person will see a lifeless, motionless body to come to the conclusion that she was deceased.
But at that time, the opinion as to how she was deceased based on what you're seeing, what you're assessing, are you making an assessment?
No, she was brutally attacked.
You also testified that he said that there was a body.
That is correct.
Okay. What happens at that point? Or what do you do at that point?
At that point, he was ahead of me, southbound. When I heard him say, "I found another body," I walked towards his direction, to his location. He was no longer on the dirt path. He was in the brush. And when I arrived there at the brush with Agent Dennison, I observed a motionless little boy as well.
Officer Dennison discovered another body of a motionless little boy, who was later identified as Dominic. The officer described the heart-wrenching scene as he saw the lifeless body of a 1-year-old lying on the ground.
What you saw?
Of course. Little brown booties, little brown boy booties, blue jeans that were covered in blood, freshly haircut, and what caught more my attention was the way the body was positioned. He was placed. He wasn't thrown. He was placed. It's as if someone had placed him down.
Did you see any injuries to the baby?
Yes, lots of blood around the neck area, and that came down. I said again, blood on the blue jeans as well.
Okay. And you recognize this?
Yes, now I remember the t-shirt. Yes, sir.
Did you see any other injuries on the baby? How close were you to the baby?
Standing right over the body.
How many injuries did you observe on the baby at that time?
I only observed one,
That was two.
the neck area.
The clothes worn by Dominic were presented to Cortez, who immediately recognized them as the same ones he was wearing the day of the terrible tragedy. It is truly heartbreaking to watch the realization weighing on the officer while the father of the baby doesn't get fazed.
Agent Dennison was in front of you this whole
Yes,
time?
he was with me. Yes, sir.
And you were with him when the shoe was found?
Yes, sir.
And what communication came over the radio that morning?
It was broadcasted, possible suspect, Burgos. That was broadcasted over my P unit, portable unit.
What was your reaction at that time? But when you heard Burgos, what did that mean? Did it mean anything to you at all?
No, sir.
Did Dennison?
Dennison was in close proximity where he could hear the broadcast on my radio.
You have your radio.
Yes, sir.
The name Burgos comes out.
Yes, sir.
It means nothing to you.
No, sir.
Do you see a physical change in Agent Dennison?
Yes, sir.
To you, what do you see this physical change?
He was in shock.
Cortez also told the authorities that when he heard the conversation about Burgos being named as a suspect, Officer Dennison was in the area. His reaction, marked with a concerning familiarity, suggested that he was not shocked by the news, but rather that it felt all too normal in the circumstances they faced.
And you saw Mr. Burgos there at the scene as well?
I saw many of them, yes. But sitting here, I recognize him, yes.
And he appeared to be in shock as well as Agent Dennison, correct?
No.
That was not your impression?
No, sir.
So you're saying that he appeared to be normal to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
The officer disclosed a startling fact about Burgos. He showed no signs of shock or even remorse for what he did after he arrived on the scene. Now, this next case is the perfect example of how these cops abuse their powers.
He told me that it moved from the fast lane to the middle lane, to the slow lane, to the middle lane, to the slow lane. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. So, which was it?
On May 11th, 2017, a police corporal in the Fayette County town of Tyrone approached a parked pickup truck during a routine check. To his surprise, the driver behind the wheel was none other than State Senator Marty Harbin, known for his contentious support of the religious freedom measure from past years.
Our policy, over 30 days of expiration, we have to tow the vehicle.
You serious with me?
Yes, sir.
I'll call it. I won't call Eric Dial, but I'll call the rest of them. But I pay my bills. This will not go over well.
I can tell you, you can talk to everybody at the department. The car's going to be impounded.
The situation got rapidly out of hand, and when he was pulled over by another officer for driving with an expired tag. When he was told that his truck would be towed, he did not comply. The scenario became more intense because of his blatant attempt to use influence.
Because I'm going to take this, and I'm going to the state, and we're going to change the law.
You're not the only one this happens to. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
but I'm just saying
it's not
the
like
law,
we're picking on you.
The law's wrong in that respect,
Okay.
and I'm not mad at
Well, that's
you.
what I mean. We can't change the law. I mean,
Well, I can't.
But that's you.
Harbin was shocked to learn that the police officers are able to confiscate cars for anything as little as an expired tag. To modify what he perceived to be an unduly severe punishment for a relatively trivial error, Harbin had introduced a bill aimed at allowing drivers to drive away from expired tag offenses.
It was moving in the fast lane.
Okay. Was there any movement into other lanes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about that.
The vehicle moved from the fast lane to the center lane at one point in time. And then from the center lane to the curb lane and then back to the fast lane. And then eventually exited the freeway, sir.
Okay. So when you were following the vehicle, it moved from the fast lane to the center lane to the curb lane, back to the center lane, back to the slow lane. Did I get that right?
Something like that, yes, sir.
Okay.
That'd be close.
Okay, so the vehicle changed lanes.
The vehicle did change lanes, yes,
Okay.
sir.
And then the vehicle exited the freeway.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. All right. Do you remember speaking with me during an interview a little while back?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And you gave me honest answers during that interview?
To the best of my recollection, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember me asking you about the vehicle's movement during that interview?
No, sir, I do. I remember you asking the question, but I don't remember exact particulars, sir.
Okay.
During a tense moment in the courtroom, the officer was asked who had stopped the senator. As the lawyer pressed him, it became clear that the cop's story wasn't holding up.
Do you recall me asking, when you were following the vehicle, did it stay in the same lane the whole time?
I know you asked numerous questions. That may have been one of them, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall your response?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. Permission of the court, Your Honor, I would like to play a portion of my interview with Sergeant Pavis where I asked him whether the vehicle, when he was following it, if it stayed the same lane the whole time.
And Mr. Payne, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So then, that portion of the tape, Mr. Noel.
And just going backwards a little bit, when you were following the pickup truck, did it stay in the same lane the whole time?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
When we got closer to
Okay. Did you hear that, Sergeant?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. So when I asked you, did the pickup truck stay in the same lane the whole time, your answer was, yes, it did.
That is correct. That is my answer.
The lawyer skillfully exposed the lies in the officer's testimony by playing a video of the cop's previous interview regarding the incident in court.
And just before I played that, when I was asking you about whether the pickup truck stayed in the same lane while you were following it, you told me that it moved from the fast lane to the middle lane, to the slow lane, to the middle lane, to the slow lane. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. So, which was it?
When I was behind the vehicle, I was in the fast lane the whole time, and at some point in time, as I just mentioned to you, he did move from lane to lane, sir.
Okay. So you don't find anything inconsistent with what you told me here in court and what we talked about?
I could see where you would see that as an inconsistency, yes, sir.
Okay.
The officer was left completely speechless as the lawyer skillfully proved him a liar in court. Each pointed question seemed to damage his credibility, and by the end, he had nothing to say in his defense. This next cop was not owned by a lawyer, but by a judge.
Then I want you taking him up on perjury.
Your Honor.
Will you take him up for perjury?
He admitted it was a mistake, Your Honor.
No, but he lied. He lied on a sworn
Absolutely
citation.
not, Your Honor, and that is...
46-year-old Lisette Gonzalez was charged with DUI. However, it was discovered during her trial that the arresting officer had not used a breathalyzer test. The judge was outraged by this wrongdoing and instantly reprimanded him.
I want to be enlightened.
It was a mistake, admittedly, by Michael Wagner.
I know.
He testified to that today.
He caused her to have her driver's license suspended for at least a few months for nothing. So are you going to no process that case, or am I going to get mad at you today?
Perhaps you can get mad at me, Your Honor, but at this point...
Why wouldn't you? Wait a minute. Did you hear the uncontroverted testimony of this officer?
Your Honor.
Then I want you taking him up on perjury.
Your Honor.
Will you take him up for perjury?
He admitted it was a mistake, Your Honor.
No, but he lied. He lied on a sworn
Absolutely
citation.
not, Your Honor, and that is not true.
I'm dismissing. I am dismissing this charge. No, I'm dismissing the charge. This whole case was fishy, and I have no idea how they... You know what?
Their address on file.
You know what?
The state intends to amend
I'm
the charge
granting.
and proceed on
I'm rescinding the sentence. I'm granting the JOA.
So you're granting it because you don't agree with the state's decision on
I'm
the
granting
other
the
charge?
JOA in fairness.
In fairness, because you don't like the state's decision today, Your Honor, on the case?
No, you're not. Now that I consider what Officer Wagner testified to and how many times he basically tripped over himself just to arrest this lady with no real probable cause. You're done. Motion, the JOA is granted.
And you're not going to provide a written order on that?
Nope. You want to appeal me? No.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The case should have never been done. Never.
Thank you for letting us know that, Your Honor.
As soon as things were made clear, the charge against Gonzalez was dropped and the cop was taught a lesson that he would never forget. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today we saw some shocking moments where corrupt cops face the consequences of their actions right in the courtroom. These individuals who were meant to uphold the law instead abused their power, but justice was ultimately served. Corruption within law enforcement is unacceptable, and it is essential that those who commit such acts are held accountable. Now, if you agree that justice must be served, be sure to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on more cases like these. Also, if you enjoyed this video, check out the next one here.